Let's make a mermaid cake. The bottom tier is going to be a blue swirly water effect, so I'm starting with some teal fondant and dotting in my darker blue and then mixing that together. When the two colors are mixed enough, it's time to start rolling out the fondant. Don't forget to keep flipping it as you go, and then time to drape over your chilled cake. Now smoothing the fondant, trimming the excess, and removing it, I'm going to work on the fondant for the top tier. Adding pink food coloring to the extra blue, I make some purple fondant, drape that over the top 6-inch tier of the cake, and then trim off the excess. I decided to make some isomalt to use for some of the decorations on the cake. I'm going to pour it out and make a little splash design, which I'll put on the top of the cake, and then I'm also going to make some little squigglies that will be kind of like coral around the sides of the cake, and then I have one more piece, and this is super hot, so I don't really recommend doing it, but I'm using some of the isomalt to make a little heart-shaped sea glass. When the isomalt has chilled and hardened, I remove it from the silicone mat. You can see it's very firm and strong, and also this piece of sea glass I think is super cool, and it's even edible. Now time to roll out my fondant and work on some of the other decorations like the mermaid topper. I'm just freehanding this shape, and then I'm going to make it twice as thick so that it's very strong to stick on the top of the cake. Adding some edible adhesive, and then I'm going to use 2 skewers to make sure it's very secure because it is a little tall and thin. And now adding some designs like the little shapes of the fins, and then I'm also going to use a large straw to make all the little scales on the tail. And I also have some other fondant decorations that I'm going to paint gold, including some shells and some other smaller mermaid tails. And now for the fun part, it's time to start stacking the cake and adding all the decorations onto it. I decided for the top tier, I'm going to use some edible gold paint and this beautiful stencil, just adding a few patches of gold here and there around the top of the cake to give the feel of scales. And then I start sticking on my decorations, adding on a large piece of coral and then a smaller piece, and then placing a shell in the front, some more coral on the back, and there's the little sea glass heart. And I forgot to film myself adding in the cake topper, but here it is. Our mermaid cake is all done. I hope you enjoyed. Follow for more.